Hey my friend, it's the founder of Developers Academy and creator of this new online course for you called 14 Days of Swift. This is the place where I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you, and we will practice together to learn everything you need to know about the Swift programming language. Now, if you already those words sound so weird to you, don't worry, we will get from scratch. You don't need any prior programming experience at all. All I assume here is that you are trying to create some apps. So let me ask you this: Have you had any idea in your mind of some of the apps that you would love to build? I guess you do have one. So that's why you are searching for the web, and maybe you see that people tell you that you should learn Swift, you should learn how to code, you should learn how to program. What is all of those things about? We will break down everything here in this course for you, and yes, it is for you. Now, as we move along here, I designed this course. Of course, we will not cover everything about the Swift programming language. It is the world's most modern, and I guess is really complex language, but we will cover just the basics, the fundamentals, so that you are able to after those short lessons and sessions together, we are able to create apps immediately. So you don't have to learn everything at all. You don't have to got to like 2 or 3 years of experience in Swift. Then you go and build some apps. My idea for you here is just spend a few minutes a day or just spend 1 hour today, and we will learn everything you need to know about Swift, and we'll move along and create apps together. How does that sound? How is that for a promise? So let's get started. In the next video, we will talk more about what's programming, what are the tools that you will need to build iOS apps. So I will see you in the next video. Can't wait to see you. I'm so excited for this Swift programming series with you. So I see you in the next video. Hey guys, welcome to session number 2 in our 14 Days of Swift series. Again, this series is I create this series for you so that you can start from scratch without any prior programming experience at all. And you will be able to learn everything you need to know about the Swift programming language, so that after this series, you have all the knowledge you need to know, all the skills, all the programming skills, so that you can start building iOS apps with us immediately. You don't got to have years and years of programming experience. As we move along, I will share with you some of the stories that sound really, it's quite ironic that someone has tremendous programming experience, still they have the same struggles or the same challenges as we do if we start from scratch. So the challenges, just bear in mind that there will be challenges. I know that you know that because this is not the first time that you ever learn anything new. So there will be challenges, there will be struggles, there will be difficulties, but we are here to help you. So let's get started, okay? What is programming? The programming doesn't have anything to do with the screens that you are seeing, but what is programming? People always ask you, like, maybe you always ask, how can I build an app? So people says you should learn how to program, how to code. So what is programming really is? Well, have you ever used something Google Maps? Have you ever used something like Google Maps? Well, programming is exactly the same. Like, you are showing the way from one place, the direction from one place to another. Okay, let's say I want to go from Times Square to the Empire State Building. So you will show me step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, or go straight, turn right, turn left, fly above, I don't know. But programming is the same. It is the way that you show instructions to the computer, a step-by-step instruction to the computer, so that the computer can perform a single task. That's programming. The next question should be, if programming is the same as showing instruction, then if you show the instruction to me, right, then you are talking with me in English, right? So does programming have something like that? We have to talk to the computer, right? That is the idea. So we also need some kind of language to talk to the computer, and that is when programming language comes from. Programming language is a language, a specialized, a collection of syntax, vocabulary, and rules and structures that you can use just like any other language to communicate, in this case, from us to the computer, with the computer. That's all. Programming and programming language. So the next question is, what are the tools that you will need from now on to the moment that you ship your apps to the App Store? What are the tools that you need to learn programming and also to build especially iOS apps? So what are those tools? Well, number one, you will need something called a Mac, okay? It's a Mac like this. I'm using a MacBook Pro here. So you can use any kind of Mac Pro, MacBook Pro, MacBook, any kind of MacBook that runs OS 10, Yosemite, or El Capitan. I recommend you to use the latest version of OS 10 as much as possible. The next one, after you got the Mac, number two is you will need a software called Xcode. It is a free software. Some people refer it as the IDE. It stands for Integrated Development Environment. It is the software that you use to build any kind of app at all related to iOS, watchOS for the Apple Watch, tvOS for the Apple TV, OS 10 apps for MacBook, Mac Pro, all of those things, and even for iPads, because iPad is also iOS. So let me show you how you can install Xcode. I will go over the App Store like this, and we will search for something called Xcode. Literally, it is called Xcode like that, and press enter. Now I know that a lot of you here already have some Xcode and those things, so just stay with me, okay? And we will move along more advanced stuff. So the very first result you will see is this tool, Xcode. So what I want you to do right now is install Xcode. Just click into it, because I already installed that. Then I got it as open. So right now, if it is install or get like this for you, then click that button and install setup Xcode, and I see you in the next video. I hope that it makes sense for you. All the things that you need right now, it just gets started. You don't need years of experiences. You don't need years of programming experience. It's funny that the very first time that I ever got in experience, in any kind of experience with building iOS apps, is not taking an online course or any official course that you are doing right now, but a professor in my school, in my college, he offered us a group of students just for free, just like a meeting group that he wanted to teach us to program, to build iOS apps. At the time it was iOS 7, and we use Objective-C, which is way harder than Swift. But here's the moral of the story. He told us that he have more than 30 years of programming experience. More than 30 years of programming experience. Yet, during that time, I think in session number 3, my app got crashed. It means that it burned out. It's like not working at all, and no one knows the reason. He spent more than 3 hours with me trying to fix that app, and after 3 hours, nothing happened. It still crashed. It's still not working. So, what is the idea here? The idea here is you don't got to wait until 30 years and you have that programming experience. You need to start now. You need to start now. So the first step to start is download Xcode, install Xcode right now, and I will see you tomorrow in the next session Oh, number 3, I forgot to show you number 3. Tools number 3 is some resources that you will need to build apps that you can learn from. It is examples, it is apps examples, resources, tutorials. Here at my Academy, Developers Academy, I teach you everything like you are having me here. So I recommend you, if you don't follow along with us, then don't try to figure it out yourself. All the things that you are trying to do right now, someone already knows how to do it. So ask them. Someone already created something and you can learn from it. Use it. So that is number 3. Number 1, a Mac. Number 2, Xcode. Number 3 is some tutorials. Someone helps you to learn this. And I hope that with me here in this course, I help you to do that also. So you got everything. You got all of those 3 things. The last one is just get started and keep at it. So I know that you are staying here because you decided to keep at it. So let's get started. Let's install Xcode and I'll see you in the next session. Hey my friends, welcome back. Welcome to session number 3 in our Swift course. In this session, we will get started with Swift and I will introduce you to some of the basic stuff, to things like variables, data types in Swift. Don't worry if those terms already sound weird to you. As I tell you always, the secret here is just get started and keep at it. And as we move along, just believe that we will be able to figure things out and we will figure things out together. Okay? So I hope that you do your assignment, you do your homework in the last session, which is just very, very simple. Download Xcode and install Xcode. And so here we go. When I open Xcode right now, when you open Xcode right now, the first thing that you notice is this screen is called Welcome to Xcode. What it does is it shows you some of the controls right up front. The first one, if you look at the left-hand side, you have 3 controls. The first one is to create a new playground. This is the thing that we will use in this project, in this course. We'll use a playground. A playground in Swift is the idea that from its creator, literally from the language creator, that he wants us to be able to write in some code, type in some code, some instructions, and we will see on the right hand side the result of those code immediately. That is the magic of learning Swift nowadays. You can see the result immediately. You can see what did you do wrong, what is the result of your doing right. That's amazing. Number 2 and number 3 is to create or continue with an existing project, Xcode project. This is the thing that we'll use next further along in TotalRS Blueprint. It is the thing that you can create the total functional app for iOS and not Android, for iOS, for tvOS, watchOS, or OS 10. Literally, with just one single Xcode project, you can build everything related to Apple ecosystem here in Xcode. That is so powerful. Everything, UI, graphics design, into coding, into testing, published to the App Store, everything in this Xcode thing. So let's get started. Oh, on the right hand side, you see a bunch of things from me right now. If in your Xcode you don't have those things, it's empty, that's alright, because this thing, it is a shortcut from some shortcuts to your previous project. Okay, so if I click into here, those are my previous projects. Right now, I want you to click on Get Started with a New Playground. Okay, we will create a new playground, and for this playground, we will const variables and data types. Like that. Now notice the way that I typed in the name here. Every word, like for each word, I will capitalize the first letter. Okay, it's just the naming convention that I used to, and later on you will know that it relates to a convention in programming. So the minute that you open Xcode right now, I hope that this is the right screen. I just try to set up as like you just just create Xcode. Okay, so when you open it up like this, the very large canvas, the blank canvas that you see here, it is called the text editor. This is the place that you can type in some code. Okay, in the middle one like this, it is the status bar. It shows you if it build succeeded, if the project build succeeded, run successfully, or has some errors, it failed. Okay, and on the right hand side has some controls. Right now, I don't want you to take care of that. I don't want you to worry about that, because as I tell you before, when we started, we will not cover everything, because if we cover everything, then you will get overwhelmed. And literally, I don't know everything. Like really, I don't know everything about those things, because most of the things, you just need the fundamentals, and then you can build up, you can get your knowledge, and you can search for things, you can read things, you can watch things like this. You don't have to know everything. Just know the things that necessary, the most critical things first. Okay. So those things I will introduce you. I will introduce you to these controls very, very shortly. Okay. Now this is what important. If you see the grayish things like this, then I want you to slide it like that. The reason is this thing on the right hand side here, it is the result panel. It shows you the result of your text immediately. Okay? So that is that. Next, I want to show you how to set up Xcode right now, so that it is set up for you, so you can start coding in the next session. Okay? So I will go over Xcode and preferences like this, or command comma like that. And it will show you the settings like this. What I want to show you is how to increase the font size. So click into font and color. What I like to do usually, if I code myself, I will use defaults like this, or you can just select here and Command A and click onto this small button right now here, and it can change the font size, and those things depends on your way. Okay, I usually use the default if I code myself, but if I present to you, I usually do this thing. Okay, presentation large like that, and I use 36. Okay, the next thing is incredibly important. That is line numbers in your code. Notice on these 3 lines of code, it doesn't have any lines numbers, so you can click into text editing and click into line numbers like this, and we'll show you the line numbers so that you can navigate around a lot of code. And also, as we move along, I can refer to each line of code for you so you can understand that. Okay, alright, so that is that. In the next video, we will officially code in Swift. We will start programming. I know that these 3 videos, it has been just set up the ground for you, just set up some We hope that inspire you and motivate you to do this. Next, we will learn about variable and data types. So I will see you in the next session. Hey my friend, welcome back to section number 4 in our 14 days of Swift. Wow, it's session number 4 already. So let's go ahead and jump into Xcode and to the last playground that we just created, and we'll start learning how to program in Swift immediately. Okay, so here we go. This is the playground that we just created in the last session. I hope that this is still the first day for you, but if it is day number 4, number 5, or even day number 7 for you, that's okay. Just move along. It's just congratulate yourself that you still keep yourself here watching this. So it means that you have some drive within you to do this. So let's just keep doing it. Just keep at it. Okay? Don't blame yourself or like beat up yourself that I missed day number 1 or day number 2. Those things. Just keep watching. Keep learning. Okay? Alright, now let's coding. So if you look at the text editor right now, on line number 1 over here, you'll see a greenish line of code. Okay, what this does is it is a comment. The way that you can create a comment in Swift is you use 2 backslashes like this, and we can type in this is a comment. Okay. Now, the reason why we need a comment is for some chunk of code, several lines of code, you want to write in something to notice the users or notice other developers or notice yourself that the reason why you want to write these lines of code, or what is the idea behind these lines of code. That is a comment is for. You explain stuff about these lines of code. Okay, the secret is that Swift or Xcode, from now on, we will tell like the thing that executes our code, who makes our code happen is Xcode. Just tell it that, okay? Or Swift. Swift will not read these line of code, okay? Line number 1, number 2. It will skip out the comments. So it is our chance to explain stuff, okay? So for comments, so I can type in like section number 4 about variables and data types, like that. Just explain what is this about. Line number 5, I want you to ignore this right now because we really don't have to care about this right now, okay? Line number 7 is what we want to talk about. Here we have something called var str equals hello playground. This thing is a generated code from Xcode. It is creating a new variable. Okay, it is creating a new variable. What it does is it creates a new variable. So what is a variable? What is a variable? A variable is a placeholder in your app. Let me I'm trying to find something to show it to you. Now, a variable is just a placeholder, or it's like a GIF, a box of GIF for your app. So it can store some value. It can store a book. It can store some letters, those things in real world. So for a variable, programming is also tries to imitate or model the same idea in real life. That is, it's trying to store some value. So how we can create some variable? Well, the way that we can do this is we use a keyword. Okay, a keyword. A keyword is the vocabulary of a language. The keyword is the vocab in the language. It's like English has is, what, why, those things, those letters, those characters, right? So a programming language also has some vocabulary and also has some syntax that you have to follow along. Okay, so that is what we are going to learn here. So the keyword is var. It stands for variable. It means that, hey Swift, create for me a variable, a placeholder for me to store some values. Okay, so I will make some room over here. Just type in enter. So the var here, the next thing to create a variable is its identifier, or the name of the variable. So we can do something like that. That's my name equals. Notice I want you to do exactly what I'm doing, okay? Just not because I want you to follow me, but I want you to practice with this. Now, the reason why I name my variable like this, my name like that, it means that I'm using something called camel case. It's just simply the first character is lowercase, the next one is uppercase, so the next X is uppercase, and so it helps you to read easily. Okay, so my name here, I can use 2 quotation mark. Remember that you must have the quotation mark. Okay, 2 quotation like this, and have the Tran like that. Okay, so this is a tells Xcode to create a variable called my name with the value of the Tran. Okay, and you will see on the right hand side, the result panel, it says the Tran. Now, the way that we are doing this right now, it is kind of like shorthand because we didn't tell Swift or the computer what is the type of this variable. Okay, variable is just data, like its value is just data. So data also has something called a data type, right? So data type is what I want you to introduce you next. What is the available data types in Swift? Well, we have things just like in math or in real world experience. We have integer. Okay, so I will type in here integer, which is something like 1, 2, 3, etc. We have string, which is something like my name is Tran. Okay, or your this is iOS development. Okay, so that is string. But notice this iOS development and this Tran, it is wrapped around a quotation marks. Okay, that is the Swift syntax to notice to tell us that this is a string. Cool. So this quotation marks, it tells us that this is a string. It's just the syntax that you have to follow the language. Next, we may have a double. Double is the floating point number. So it says like 5.5, 9.1, those things. We also have Boolean value, which is true or false. Okay, so just true or false, Boolean value. And later on, in the very last lesson in this series, I will teach you how to define your own data types. Okay, define your own data types. It means that, let's say you are trying to model something in real world life, like a water bottle. How are you going to model this? Well, that has like color, it has the height, the width, the tall, the material, the make, all those things. Let's not skip our head first, but you can define your own data types also. So let's talk about how we can create more variable. Okay, so let's say I want to create an int, so I will type in var my number like this, This can be anything. This can be anything. But notice that it has to be on the same word. Okay. My number, and this my number is of type int. So I will have the colon like this. Int equals 100. Okay. And it says 100 on the right hand side. Notice. So how about I will change another one. Var my this year is also an int, right? Equals maybe we travel time 17 or something. We travel time. Next, now notice what another thing is. We have var my number here is an int. It was 100. We specify that it is of type integer. Okay. I know this is just 3 lines of code, but I refer it back and forth again and again so you can get yourself familiarized with this. Okay, so my number is an int over here. We tells that it is an int. Okay, but on here we haven't tells that it is of any data type. Why is that? Well, over here actually, or the same here for str, actually this my name is a string, so we can do colon string like this. Notice it is capital S. Okay, and still have the Tran like this. The reason why we don't got to have that is it is shorthand notation in Swift. It means that even if we don't have the types like this, just the name of variable of var and the name of it and some value, Swift can refer, it can infer out the data type of the variable. So if the value is a string, then of course the data type is a string. Okay, makes sense, right? All right, so next, let's try something new. Var, how about course name is a string, right? Equals iOS development like this. How about we have var school, okay, it's also a string, but I don't want to use a string there, so I don't have that. So the school is Developers Academy, okay, which is the academy I create for you to teach you how to become an iOS developer. Next, how about we have var programming is fun. I hope that it is fun, so I make sure it is a Boolean value and assign it the value of true. Okay. Next, we also have, so that we have double. How about double? How about var bill amount is maybe like 90.5, something like that. This is a double. Okay, so that is the way that you can create variables and data types and those things in Swift. So in the next video, we will talk about how you can create a constant and how to create operators, how to use operators in Swift. So I hope that you enjoy this. Check out the challenge document. I always prepare a challenge document for you to practice with what you are learning right now. So try out that thing first, and we will see you in the next video. We will learn about constants and operators in Swift. See ya. Hey guys, welcome back to session number 5, in which we are going to talk about constants and operators, how to manipulate data around in Swift. Again, you are watching session number 5 in our 14 days of Swift. I hope that you still follow along with us, and if you are, I want to congratulate you because this journey is hard, even though we just get started, but it seems hard already. There are so many things you have to grab around. Okay, it's like going to university again. But I hope that I make it fun for you, and I hope that this journey is enjoyable to you. So let's get started. Let's go over Xcode, the playground that we used in the last session over here. Okay, I hope that you also try out the challenge in the last session. So in this session, let's talk about constant and variable. I will use the same one because I want to show you another thing about variable. Okay, now the idea behind variable is you can store some data inside that, and you can change that data also. So let's say our last example, we have the bill amount is 90.5. So how about we can have bill amount equals something like 90.5 plus 100.4. Okay, so we increment, we add more 104 into the 90.5, and Swift will calculate this for us into 190.9. Okay, it can change the value. That's why we have variable. It can change its value, and the thing that you are using right now is called a addition operator, an add operator. It's just like in math. Okay, don't worry, we will not use math really much a lot here, but I just want you to know that it has that. Okay, so what is the logic, how Swift executes this line of code? First, it knows that we have built amount here, so it will execute on the right hand side first. Okay, it says 90.5 plus 100.4. It is 190.4, right? And then it will assign the value of 190.9 into the bill amount via this equals. Okay, this is not really an equals, but it is an assignment operator. It is also an operator. Okay, so it will assign the value of the right hand side onto or to the build amount, the left hand side, the variable. Okay, so we can change the value of that. Cool. All right, next, how about we change the course name here into something like build motivational quotes app. It is one of the course that we will teach you here. Okay, so build motivational quotes app, and then you can see the value here is build motivation quotes app, or we should have motivational quotes app like that. Okay, so that is how you can change the value of a variable. Next, the question now is, what if we don't want to change its value? For some of the things in programming or in our app, we don't want to change its value. One don't want to change the value of that box, of that placeholder. How can we do that? For example, I have a var programming is fun out here. Maybe I don't want to change that because I think that programming is really fun. It will always be fun. So I don't want anyone or myself to change the value from true to false. Okay, right now we can do something like this. Programming is fun equals true. Okay, but I want to make sure that it will not be changed to false. So how can we do that? Well, we can, instead of make this programming is fun a variable, sorry guys, while watching this live, I am actually recording this course for you guys, but someone is talking outside, so I have to close the windows. Okay, so let's get started again. Okay, I will save this, the recording of this first, and then 14 days of Swift. Okay, I think I just spelled wrong, but that's okay. Okay. So where did we stop? Okay. So what if we don't want to make this programming is fun be turned into false? So the way that we can do this is we make this programming is fun instead of a variable in which its value can be changed into something called a constant. Okay. Now the way that we can create a constant is using, instead of the var keyword, we use the let keyword, and then the name of the constant. Let's say we have fun programming. Okay, it is also a bool, and this is now true. So fun programming is true. How about we do programming, fun programming? We want to change that into false, equal false. Then now it is, we got, ladies and gentlemen, we got just be introduced to the very first error in our programming experience, in our programming career. That is the little thing, the red little thing over here you just saw. It is called an error, a bug, an error. Okay. So what this is about is shows you that you got an error in your code. It says, when you click into this circle, it says, cannot assign to value fun programming is a let constant. So it means that this fun programming is a let, is a constant. You cannot change its value. So you want to make sure that this is turned into a comment by doing these two backslashes. Okay, because it's false, and if it's false, then it will halt. It will stop our program up until this line 33. Okay, so that is all about constants, just that simple. How about we can do something like this? Let my name equals Tran or something. Okay, so that no one can change my name, something like that. Cool. So next, let me introduce you to some of the things in about operators. Okay, the first operators is addition. You may already know that. So let's have let addition equals 3 plus 8, which is 11. Okay. Next we have, how about I have var subtraction equals addition minus 10. Now notice we can also use the value, use a variable or a constant to minus something or to add something onto with some operators. Okay. Now what this does is it will again evaluate the right hand side first. So we have addition minus 10, which is addition is 11. On this line, addition is 11 minus 10 is 1. So it will assign the value of addition minus 10, which is 1, onto subtraction, which is 1. So now subtraction is 1, and you can check that by typing in subtraction on the lower line, and will on line number 38, and will show you 1. Cool. All right, next let's have a division, not division, but division is, how about we have, oh, before that I want to show you multiplication. So let's multiplication, which is addition times subtraction. So guess what? Addition is 11, subtraction is 1. So 1 times 11 is 11. And then assign the value of 11 into multiplication. So now multiplication is 11. Next, let's have let division. Again, division. What is that? So we have division. Division here is, how about we have multiplication times addition. Okay, I'm sorry, is divided by addition. So we have multiplication is 11 divided by addition is 11. So 11 divided by 11 is 1. Next, let modulus equals, now modulus is the way that you can find the remainder of a division. So how about we want to have the multiplication using the percentage sign for 2. So it should be 11 modulus 2, which is 1. Okay, or if we have modulus 3 here, it should be 2. Cool. So the remainder of 11 divided by 3 is 2. Alright, so that is all I have to say for you about constants and operators in Swift. I prepared a challenge document right below for you in this course for you, so check it out and I hope you enjoy this. In the next session, we'll talk about string in particular in Swift, string in Swift. So I see you in the next session. I hope that you enjoyed this session. Hey my friends, welcome back to session number 7 in our 14 days of Swift. Wow, we just got one half of the way there. And you know what, for some of you, you are just in day number 1. Well, congratulations. I just be wowed by your commitment to this, because I know that learning how to program is hard, and as we move along here in the next few days, it will just, I cannot say to you that it will get easier, because that is a boring statement, because only the thing that is the most challenging for us is the thing that stirs up our mind, inspires us. Okay, I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope you see the values I'm trying to bring to you and the content that we're trying to deliver. So in this session, number 7, we will talk a little more about string and Swift. In the last section, we talked about operators. I hope that you enjoy that session and try out the challenge. So let's talk about string and Swift. Here I will create a new playground. So let's create a new playground. I hope that you still remember how to create a playground. Here we go. So here we go. I will name this, string. Just strings. That's simple. And we'll place it right onto the desktop, and I will organize that later. Okay. And as always, move this to that. Now, let's talk about string. The first question is how we can create a string. How can we create a variable of type string? So let's do that. Var my string, which is a string, equals, this is, how about Dirk knows how to build iOS apps, something like that. Next, let's have a constant, which is a string also. Let fact equals, or is assigned to, iOS programming is actually really fun. Cool. Alright, next I want to show you how you can how you concatenate, or you can add several strings into a sentence. How you can add several strings into a sentence like this. Let's say I have something like let noun, or let name is which is a string, right? And let verb, okay, let's say we have that sentence thing. So let verb is something like knows or builds. Okay, let fact is iOS apps that are really beautiful. I just made this up on the way. Okay, so that we have these 3 things. Oh, got something? On the left hand side right now, it has an error. We just got an error. It says invalid redeclaration of fact. What is that? Well, obviously this is an error, but this error, it says, okay, you just tells me, Swift is talking to us. It says, oh, you just tell me to create a variable or a constant named fact. And you know what? I knew about a fact constant above here on line number 7. Now you tell me to create another one. No way, I'm not going to create that for you. You have to do it again. Okay? So this is not allowed in programming. You cannot create two constants or two variables at the same page like this or in the same file. Okay? So the way that you can go around this is change it into fact number 1. Okay? So just different name is fine. So next, I have var sentence equals name plus verb plus fact number 1. And guess what? It is going to be the build iOS apps that are really beautiful. Cool? Over here. But notice one thing is it does add these strings together, but it doesn't show us the whole thing. Like these things, the build iOS apps, okay, it is attached to that. So we need some space there. So before this, I will have after the first plus a space, and then plus, okay, in here space, and then plus. Okay, so now we have the build iOS apps that are really beautiful. Cool. So that is how you can do this. So next, I want you to try out the challenge document very fast below this video. So just check it out and have fun with this. Okay. In the next section, session number 8, we are going to talk about array in Swift. This is the place when everything is going to go to the next level. To very fun. Array in Swift, just out of the box, it is a way for you to not only store a single value. If you look at constant and variable right now, it can just store one value only, right? Array is the idea that you want to store a sequence of value. Like let's say you have a dictionary or like a list, a to-do list. Then you have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5. That is array is for us. It can store a list of values. So I'm so excited to show you array in Swift, but first check out the challenge, and I will see you in the next video, session number 8. Hey my friends, welcome back to session number 8 in our 14 days of Swift. I know that we have been way more than half of the way. This is going to be awesome. It's going to go really awesome. Like the things that we are going to talk from now on. We have a lot of knowledge already. You know what? We have a lot of knowledge already. The thing that we will talk in this session is way more advanced stuff. Okay, so the thing that we're going to talk about in this section is array. So first, let's create a new playground by clicking that button. Okay, and I will name this array and save it over there. Increase the size a little bit and make sure that we do this. Okay, now I want just to remind you how to create a variable. So let's practice how to create a variable. Let's say I have var at equals an app like reminders. I love that app, reminders. Okay, so is that. But now the question is, what if I'm trying to build a to-do list app? A to-do list app. I need to store a bunch of stuff, right? Or I'm trying to build a mail app. If you look at the inbox, If you look at your inbox, there are like hundreds and thousands and millions of mails. So how you can do that? How you can have millions of stuff in just one thing? Well, that is the idea of array. It is a way for you to store a list of data. So how about I want to create, let's say, var a list of apps equals, okay, I want to store a list of apps. So I want to store things like reminders, mail, Xcode, and calendar. Okay, so let's do this. I have an array. Notice by a square bracket, it is that key is right above our return key or enter key. Okay, inside that is our first element, reminders. Okay, and then minus. So we will separate out the next each element inside an array by a comma. Next we have mail. Next I have Xcode, and next we have calendar, which is like 4 of the most common used. I use personally a lot. Okay, so those are the apps that we use. Then now notice, array in Swift, it is a list. So if let's say I am going to show you how to create a multiple lines comment. The way you can do this is backslash and then star, and below here we have backslash star. Inside this block from 10 to 15 you can write in any comment. Okay, so inside this, how about we have things like the first app. Okay, so app number 1 is reminders, app number 2 is mail, app number 3 is Xcode, and app number 4 is calendar. Okay, so that is our 4 apps. But the thing I want you to pay attention and remind in your head from now on is this array in Swift, it also index or it also put numbers on its element because it is a list, right? So then you can refer to a list as element number 1, element number 2, element number 3, element number 1000, or email number 1, email number 1 millionth. Okay, so that is the way. But array in programming, I guess that most programming right now, it has different kinds of system of indexing. Index, that is how we call and put numbers on stuff. Okay, now it starts not from 1, it starts from 0. Okay, so element number 1, the first element has the index of 0. We are going to talk about index. So mail, guess what? It is indexed at 1, Xcode index 2, and calendar is indexed at 3. How do I know that? Well, if you look at this result panel over here, and it has some keys or some buttons. You can click into this eye icon, click into that, it's called quick look. Okay, and over here it says something like this. Okay, this thing has some error, so I will move it like that. Shows you. So number 0, why it doesn't have anything here, but it says reminders. Okay, number 1, it says mail. I don't know why it doesn't show here. Maybe just because it is too big or something. So number 1, index number 1, it has mail. See, this is a list, right? Number 2, it is Xcode. Number 3 is calendar. Okay, so how about I want to add another one like this? Just add another one. How about we have add Facebook, comma Instagram, comma Developers Academy. We have our app on the web also, so Developers Academy, and the array just changes into more things. So 0, now we got the reminders. So 0 is reminders, 1 mail, and then 5 is Instagram, 6 is developers. Okay, now one thing I want you to notice is, again, this array, it is called an array, but really at the end of the day, it is just a variable. It is just a variable. Okay, so it means that it has a type also. So the type of the array here is specified by an array type and the type of its element. Okay, so we can specify as is an array bracket, and its the type of its element is string, like that. Okay, so there we go. Now you might ask right now, if you know some prior programming experience, you might ask that how can you have one array or list but have different data types? Well, we will talk about that later on, but right now I don't want you to focus on that, because really, like, I program every day, and most of the time I don't use that kind of data structure very much. Like, we don't use that kind of data structure, that an array or a list of things that have now a number, now a string, now a double, now a boolean value. We don't use that. We have other data types that is more suitable, better for that kind of array. Okay, so array, just keep in mind, it has just one single element, one single type of value. Okay, for now. So now I want to show you how to create, how to add more elements inside an array. Because right now, if the only way that we can add elements inside an array is comma, like this, and add something like x, y, z, like that, right? But how about we don't want to do that? So we want to do things like apps dot, okay, dot append. So it's the minutes you type in apps dot over here, it already tells you that, okay, you can do something with this app. That's all. You can do something with this variable. And Xcode very smart about this. It shows us some of the things that we can do. So right now I want to append, so it says here, I can double click on that, and we can add new element onto that. So here I will add an element called something like not Facebook, but Snapchat. Okay, there we go. And if you looked at, if you typed in apps below here, it will shows here. Okay, quick look, and below here we have Snapchat. That's how you do it. So the next thing is how you can access an element inside an array. How you can take out the numbers over here. Okay, so let's say I want to take out the number of Instagram, the value of Instagram. That we use. Let's say I have let app. Okay, Instagram is 1, 2. So let's have this. Okay, over here. Reminder is 0. Mails is 1. Xcode is 2. This is one you should practice with indexing. Calendar is 3, 4, and 5. So Instagram is index is 5, right? App index 5 equals. So we use apps, okay, and then we use the bracket again. Brackets, we want to specify the element at the 5th index, index number 5. So we have 5, okay? Then this app index is going to be Instagram. So that is the way that you do it. So let app index, or the first app, equals app sub 0, right? So that is how you can access elements inside an array. Now, I know that this is the very short version of array. Literally, there are a lot more we should talk about array, but this is the first thing, like all the things that, the very basic things you have to need to know about arrays in Swift. So I just want to introduce you to this first, and as we move along we will have a lot more to talk about. So let's talk about more of that in the future sessions together. So that is session number 8 of our 14 days of Swift. We talk about array. I already prepared an array document for you, a challenge document, so try it out before episode number 9. So array, I hope that you enjoy this. In the next session, number 9, we're going to talk about control flow. It is the tools that you can bring the next level of the power into your program. With control flow, things like if this happened, then that happened. If this happened, then that happened. Else, this happened. Or you can tell the program to do one thing over and over again. It's just very powerful. So I will see you in the next session, number 9. We'll talk about control flow. See ya. Alright guys who are watching us on YouTube, I hope that you enjoy this. For today, maybe we should stop now because I am going to have an appointment with one of my folks here. So I will see you tomorrow. Again, tomorrow is 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I will try my best to broadcast to you almost every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Time US. So I hope that you will check us out and just go to Tran.co if you love more content from me. And I will see you next time in our next episode of Code Hangout. And again, this replay, I will post it as a full course for you. So just wait for me, okay? Just stand by and